Nothing like making it happen first, right? Thank you very much for your time. So imagine, you're in a building, it's on fire. You could even imagine that you're in the Circle Warehouse fire in 2007. You're the employee who was trapped inside the building. You've called 911, but that's all you've been able to do is call 911 and tell them that you're in the building and maybe where you are in the building. I'm sure you're familiar with the results of that fire. As a result of that, I came up with an idea. What if you had a smartphone and you could live stream video from inside the building and be able to show the fire chief or the incident commander outside the building what was going on inside that building. Not only would it be able to provide visual awareness to those first responders, but it would also allow them to identify where he is in the building because of the GPS tagging. So that's exactly what we've done. We've created a technology originally called 911 Observer. It is an app for iPhone and Android. It's already in beta in the stores, and it live streams video from the smartphone up to a secure website. It also allows you to chat between the observer and whoever's monitoring that site. So the original idea of 911 Observer was submitted as a new idea, South Carolina idea last year, and it won for software and IT. And as a result of that, we decided to start up a company. Even though there are 311 million people in the United States, there are about 44 million incidents, fire, EMS, and crimes in the United States. And they're resulting in about 260 million calls to 911. That doesn't necessarily mean that you as an individual know that you're going to be in an emergency situation or need to call 911. So why would you download an app like this? So what we had to do is come up with a business model that allowed for what we call daily use, and also commercialize it and deploy it nationally. So we decided to change the name to Guardian Watch. And from the name you might be able to figure out what we did. We decided to make it an application for neighborhood watch groups. There are currently 41,000 incorporated neighborhood associations in the United States. And they have anywhere, basically every single one of them have either a formal registered neighborhood watch group or Crime Stoppers group, or an informal group of people who kind of watch out what's going on in the neighborhood and like to share that information between each other. So inside the application, we allow them to create groups around their neighborhood watch group, send notifications to each other of what's going on inside the neighborhood, and then also live stream a report if they see a suspicious person or a burglary or they have some type of emergency, even a medical emergency. So we're currently piloting it with the Sheriff of Richland County, Sheriff Lott, and the Chief of Police in Columbia, South Carolina, Randy Scott. And they have 400 well-organized neighborhood associations there that we're just now getting out to introduce Guardian Watch to them. The official launch of the pilot will be in January. Our competitors in this model, really there are no competitors selling the idea or designing the idea specifically for Neighborhood Watch. However, there are several companies that have either created an application very similar to OnStar for a smartphone. The way that our business model operates is once you join a group, you can use the apps for free, but once you join a Neighborhood Watch group, you'll pay $10 as an annual subscription. Our competitors charge anywhere from $9.99 to $29.99 a month in order to provide that security solution, so we feel we're very competitive. If we only get 1% of all the neighborhood associations in the United States, and then 1% of their population, we're generating $30 million a year. So currently we've raised $115,000 in friends and family. I have a line of credit of $465,000, but there are limitations on that. We've spent $215,000, and in this next round we'd like to raise $200,000 in order to open an office in Aiken County, make it a South Carolina employer, hire the rest of my management team that I've identified, and then also continue our marketing, which we plan on even though we started the pilot, we plan on, is that the end or is that a minute?
It's the end.
Okay. Well, I got it all in, hopefully. So my name is Dr. Gordon Jones. I'm the founder and CEO of Guardian Watch. So now they ask questions.
Would the judges please start with your questions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, explain to me the costs associated with hosting all this and how that compares to what you're billing folks. I mean, and I really want to speak to a per unit thought process, not globally what
Right.
we're doing right now.
Well, we're built on the iPhone and the Android, and that was basically nothing, $15,000 to build those. There's really no maintenance to those. The videos and all the data is hosted in the cloud currently on Media Temple, which allows for automatic scaling, and we could be doing 25 million videos at any one time if somebody is clicking on them and either viewing the video live streaming or if it's cached and they're downloading it. The cost of that is, I think we get up to 5 terabytes at $2,500 a month. And we don't see that we're going to get there for a long time for 5 terabytes.
But so how much are you charging the individuals that are using the app?
$10 a year.
Yeah.
So the return on that is in the cents. So, I mean, it's almost all profit. To host the data is very, very low. And since we're doing it in the cloud, we don't see that those costs will escalate all that much rapidly based upon the cloud, using the cloud.
I like the fact you came up with a strategy to make it appealing before the emergency as a way to get it to a hold of the market. Can you describe the specific features that you think would motivate a group or an individual to sign up initially?
Well, because of my work in emergency management, we're always thinking about even EMS people that we work with. If they don't use an application, product, or service on a daily basis, then they're not going to use it in a really large emergency and mass casualty event. So I took that, and the idea initially for neighborhood watch groups was because neighborhood associations, they're already organized. People are already paying dues. Of course, they vary anywhere between $10 a year and $565 a month. And they have organized meetings and I've been making presentations to the neighborhood associations in Columbia for the past 2 months, so they have them all the time. And they have relationships with their first responders, the police chief, the police and the fire, and the sheriff's departments are there all the time.
Right. So I think it's the selection of the target audience makes a lot of sense to me. What I want to understand is what features in your application, what are you allowing them to do and making it easier for them that they're not able to do easily right now? What's going to motivate them based on the features of your product to sign up?
Well, right now, a lot of them are using Facebook for their association communications, and it's cluttered because they're talking about dog poop in the yard and grass growing and all that stuff. And this would be specifically for an emergency, whether it's medical, fire, or law. And the notification application within the system, when they join that group, all of those notifications around emergencies. Now, they are continuously looking to see what's going on in the neighborhood.
So who's looking? That's my question. Who's watching?
Oh, everybody in the neighborhood. So, I mean, when you're driving down your road in your neighborhood, aren't you kind of looking out about what's going on in your neighborhood to make sure everything's kind of copacetic? So it would be used for if you saw a suspicious person walking down the street, you might be able to live stream video of him while you're driving by or walking by, because you know they don't belong there, and you want to notify your police person who's responsible for that area that, hey, somebody's in the neighborhood and we want to.
So you're saying police. So then is the agreement that you currently got with Columbia that they're watching these streams? So whatever
okay, the model is
model?
the model is the neighborhood association adopts the application for their neighborhood watch group. Then they invite their public safety liaison, whether it's a police or sheriff, deputy sheriff. They come in and they are the ones who are getting these notifications. Now, cities can monitor the application because all it takes is a web interface. But my goal is to connect the person who's in the emergency with the first responder who's responsible for that jurisdiction, that category of incident, and that they're on duty. And they can do that with their own mobile device. They already have laptops in their vehicles, and more of them, like the Baltimore police. Every single police officer in Baltimore has a BlackBerry. We haven't created the app for BlackBerry, but they don't need it. As long as they have a mobile browser, they can see the video. We only need the mobile application to capture the image from the device and send it live. Does that answer your question? Good.
Relative to the information, two things. One is if you are in an emergency situation, the fireman, for example, man down, he drops the app. How is this going to show their support team where he is, what he's doing, even though it has a GPS? Does he have to hold it? Is it embedded in his uniform?
No, it's not for the first responders, okay? So the fire chief is using, he's got his way of being able to view the video from outside, whether he's got an iPad or a tablet or a laptop or whatever.
So there's a monitor of some sort inside the city?
Well, they have access to it no matter what because it's internet-based.
Okay, so is it fireproof, hazardous resistant?
No. It's built for the consumer, not the first responder. Okay? So I'm in the fire because I'm trapped, I'm an employee.
Mm-hmm.
It's just my iPhone. That's all it is.
Okay, so you drop that iPhone.
Okay?
How do I know where you are?
Well, hopefully you've been able to call 911 already. So I'm not trying to replace 911. So what this does is adds more information to the information that you've already provided to 911. If you're familiar, go
And
ahead.
if that app is on your iPhone?
Yes.
And this is how they see, right? This is how they
Yes,
see.
yes.
All right, you drop that iPhone.
Okay?
You can't see anymore. The person's disappeared. You don't have video of what's going on in the room, and you don't know where the person is now because they've dropped the iPhone.
Correct.
Okay.
Now-
And the second question is, for other information, for neighborhood associations, how do you, I guess, what's the firewall for the security of this so that information is just not
Right.
randomly dispersed?
Well, it's all logged in and password protected.
So it's high security?
Yes.
Okay. And then my last question, then I'll pass it down. What's your total investment that you need to take this to commercialize this to the market? How many years before you start seeing a profit? And how are you going to architect out from here? How about that?
I actually don't need the $200,000 to make a profit. I've already deployed the applications. I don't need full-time employees because I've outsourced everything. But and the architecture can blow. It can scale as much as we need. I've built it that way on purpose so that I could be a solo person if I wanted to. But I want to build a large black bond or benefit-focused company myself.